You're not who you think you are. In fact, most of the time, you're not even thinking. You're watching this video right now. Maybe you chose to. Or maybe your finger moved and your brain just caught up. What if that curiosity, that flick, that click, that why not, wasn't your decision at all? What if your brain served it up and you just nodded along? There's a version of you that walks around believing it's in charge, the narrator, the decider. But underneath that polished surface is something stranger, something quieter, older, and far more powerful. It's constantly watching, reacting, choosing, without ever letting you know. And the funny thing is, it's not broken. It's not malfunctioning. It's doing exactly what it was meant to do. There's a hidden fracture in your mind. One part moves fast, making snap decisions, reacting before you even know what's happening. The other part shows up late, looks around and says, "Yeah, I meant to do that." But by the time that second voice kicks in, the decision's already been made. The hand's already reached. The words are already leaving your mouth. It's like waking up mid-sentence, holding a pen you didn't know you picked up, claiming authorship over a story you didn't write. You're not lying. You just believe you're the one in control. From the outside, the world looks separate. There's you, the thinker, the watcher, and then there's everything else. But that line you draw between the observer and the observed, it's not real. The part of you that thinks it's watching your thoughts is just another thought. The eye that seems to sit behind your eyes is a role being played in real time, scripted by neural impulses, shaped by habit, and stitched together into a story that only feels true. You don't uncover your beliefs, emotions, or reasons. You invent them, on demand. The mind doesn't dig deep, it improvises. It builds a version of you that makes sense in this situation. And yet, choices are made, lives are lived, words are spoken. So if you're not the one driving, who is? It feels like you're the thinker behind the thoughts, but in reality, thoughts just appear. They emerge like ripples on a pond, without your permission, without your effort. You don't create them, you notice them. This noticing self, the one that says I, believes it's the source. But watch closely. Every time you try to catch the moment you choose a thought, it's already there. It arrives fully formed, and you step in afterward to claim ownership. You are not the author, you're the reader turning pages in a story you didn't write. Your behavior? Same story. Most of your choices are already set in motion by the time you become aware of them. You think you're deciding what to do, but your body is already moving, your brain is already aligning the pieces. The conscious mind just spins a narrative that makes it all seem deliberate. You're not lying to others, you're lying to yourself. But you're doing it so well, so convincingly, that you never realize it's happening. Think about the last time you said something you didn't really mean, or justified a decision that felt off, or defended a belief you didn't fully understand. These aren't glitches. This is how the system is designed. You see, your mind is running two games at once. One is about surviving, getting what you need, staying in the tribe, avoiding pain. The other is about appearing consistent, maintaining the image of a stable, coherent you. But these two games don't always play nice. So, the unconscious mind acts first, quietly, efficiently, often selfishly. And then, once the action is complete, the conscious mind steps in to clean up, to rewrite, to explain. It tells a story that makes you look smart, moral, or decisive, even when none of that is true. And you know what? You believe it. You believe your own explanation. You believe your own fiction. Because the mind doesn't care about the truth. It cares about the feeling of coherence. It cares about being someone. But what happens when you stop needing to be someone? What happens when you drop the mask? If your unconscious is driving the show, you'd hope at least it's yours. But it isn't. Not really. Your attention, what you notice, what you care about, what you remember, is under constant siege. Not by some grand conspiracy, but by design. Advertisers, politicians, platforms, and algorithms aren't targeting your logic. They're whispering to your instincts. They speak the language of speed, color, repetition, fear, desire, because that's the language your unconscious understands. They know you'll look longer at a face that smiles. They know you'll click a word that triggers an old fear. They know you'll scroll just a little further if the sound fades just right. This isn't mind control. It's deeper than that. It's environmental sculpting, nudging your impulses, rewiring your preferences, moving you without touching you. And every time it works, your conscious mind makes up a reason. I liked that. I needed this. I was just curious. But the truth is, you're being moved long before you know you're moving. Right now, without moving your head, notice your breathing. Did you decide to do that? Or did your body just keep going? That's how deep the automation runs. And advertisers know it. You can't fight what you can't see. And that's the trick, isn't it? Awareness isn't just knowing what's happening. It's realizing you were never the one doing it in the first place. But there is something you can do. You can slow down. Not to control, but to notice. Not to overpower the unconscious, but to stop pretending it's not there. So here's what that looks like. Wake up, and instead of rushing into the day, pause. Not to meditate, just pause. Let yourself observe the first thought that appears. Don't chase it, don't judge it, just notice it, like you'd notice a leaf floating past. During the day, take micro moments, before responding, before buying, before reacting. Ask yourself, did I decide this, or did it just happen through me? Not to get an answer, but to see the machinery moving. You're about to fire off a reply to that annoying text. Pause, micro moment. Ask yourself, was that me? Or was that just habit taking the wheel? In conversations, watch your defenses. The moment you feel the need to explain, justify, prove, that's a flare, not from clarity, but from the unconscious scrambling to protect its story. When that happens, don't resist. Just observe. Observation breaks the loop. It doesn't stop the thought. It ends the illusion that you are the thought. You don't need to master your mind. You just need to stop believing it belongs to you. There's a hard-to-describe kind of freedom that comes when you stop trying to be in control. Not because you've given up, but because you've realized there was no controller to begin with. The mind does what it does. Thoughts appear, emotions swell, choices get made. But the part of you that believes it's the architect, the author, the driver, was never in the driver's seat. It was always a passenger watching the road unfold, narrating the ride. The idea of a self, separate, permanent, choosing, feels real because it's useful. But usefulness isn't the same as truth. In reality, there's no more pressure to be better, No more inner war between who you are and who you think you should be. Instead, there's clarity. There's space. You can watch thoughts come up without grabbing them. You can watch fear pass without obeying it. You can feel the pull of an impulse and simply not follow. Not because you tried to resist, but because for the first time, you saw it coming. Most people walk through life in a trance, a well-dressed, well-spoken trance. They think their actions are deliberate, their preferences authentic, their judgments fair. But underneath there's pattern, repetition, programming, that weird déjà vu, that random spark of guilt, that flash of clarity in the shower. Those aren't bugs, they're glimpses, invitations, winks from the deeper part of you. Not to remember who you are, but to realize you never were who you thought. Because what's left when you stop clinging to the mask isn't emptiness, it's freedom. Not the kind that lets you do whatever you want, the kind that shows you were never separate to begin with. No observer, no observed. Just this, watching itself unfold. And that is the punchline your mind has been keeping from you.